You don't have to come out of character to get your point across. Hi guys, welcome back to another week of Wake Up and Win. I am Natasha Joy, your favorite leadership coach, your favorite thought partner, your favorite friend's friend, and I am excited to be with you guys another week. If you haven't done so, please subscribe, get alerts to every time I'm dropping new information for you all. This week, I am excited to talk about something that is a common problem when having conversations with people, and that is how to handle interruptions gracefully when in conversation. I posted the question last week on Threads as to how does it feel when someone interjects while you're talking. Thinking about dialogue, research states that oftentimes people interject as a means to connect and bond with what it is that you're saying. After doing some further research on my own, I realized that people think that when you interrupt them, it is quite rude. If you too find it rude when folks are interjecting with you, sit tight, grab a notebook, because I'm giving you practical and effective ways to handle conversations gracefully when you're being interrupted. Now, let's set the context. I am not denouncing interrupting because I do find it essential to interrupt sometimes, whether at work, home, or school. However, if you find yourself in the workspace and you are experiencing interruptions that inhibit you from fully explaining your thought and have led you to quiet your voice in the workplace setting, I am here to help you with that. Option 1, acknowledge the interruption politely. First things first, take a deep breath. Do not react to this interruption emotionally with a sense of defense. That is not necessary in this place. You are in full control of what is happening. Your role here is to reestablish your boundary. And one way you can do that is by saying, I hear you, but let me finish my thought, and proceed to reclaim the power of the conversation. This sets a boundary while remaining respectful. And it's very important that you keep a calm and relaxed tone while you're saying it. There is no need for you to overexert energy. There's no need for you to get louder than the person. Remain at the tone that you're comfortable with. The way you started the conversation, come back in, redirect it with that same tone and volume. Option 2, redirect the focus back to your point. The interruption has derailed the conversation. Bring it back to what you were saying. For instance, you can say, that's a great point, but I'd like to wrap up my point, and proceed with your thought. So this phrase shows that you value their input, you're including them. However, you would like to extend your thought. That's if you would actually want to honor what they are saying. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes people are eager to interject with you because they're finding something that you're saying resonating with what they have in their mind. As a leader, if you want to include people, one of the ways you can include them is by acknowledging what they're saying, but then redirecting it back to your point that you want to make. The third option, which is my favorite, is nonverbal cues. In a group setting, if someone interrupts you, you can simply motion towards them. This is my favorite because it doesn't evoke a verbal response from me. I am just using my body in a way that establishes what the boundary is and what I need from the other person. The tip about the hand gesture, though, you maintain eye contact with the person who is interrupting. It's most effective when you use hand and eye contact with the person who is interrupting you. The space in which I predominantly use this is when I am in a group setting and I can almost hear someone wanting to interject. And as I'm talking, I will continue to talk even though I hear the cue, hold my hand up, make that eye contact, and that will signal that when I am done, you may proceed talking. So you need all of the features. You need the hand motion, you need the eye contact, and you need to continue talking to maintain that you're still speaking. Option 4, address chronic interruptions. Now, if someone is repeatedly interrupting you, it might be time for a one-on-one chat. And what this looks like is you inviting the person to a conversation about their interruptions off the scene non-publicly. Please approach this with curiosity. You do not know why someone is interjecting you. As much as it may feel disrespectful, it might feel rude, it might feel like they're belittling you. Know your worth and walk into this understanding that you are seeking understanding about a human behavior. No assumptions. It is very important that you put your assumptions to the side and approach this with curiosity. One way you can do this is by asking, hey, I notice every time I'm talking, you interrupt and cut me off. Tell me a little bit more about that. And then you listen. Do not, I repeat, refrain from trying to convince the person of how you feel when they do it. This is their chance to explain to you what is happening when you are talking. This information is vital to you because you get to learn where you stand with this person. Based on what they say is how you will move accordingly moving forward. Be curious. Last but not least, stay professional and assertive. Do not crash out. I repeat, do not make the situation worse by elevating your voice, rolling your eyes, storming out the room, bringing up old situations. Stick to the moment at hand. You are worth every penny and your voice is needed in this space. If you find that you've missed your opportunity, that means that you are talking and someone jumps in and talks over you and takes over the conversation, and maybe 2 or 3 people have continued the conversation on. Before the meeting wraps up or before the conversation ends, you can pause everyone and say, hey, before we go, I'd like to finish my point, and proceed from there. You have more than one opportunity to get your point across. Point of conversation, also known as dialogue, is to hear and understand all voices. And although there are moments when voices are cut, it will always be your responsibility to speak up. It will always be your job to find a way to include yourself, even after someone has interrupted you. You are not allowed to allow people to interrupt you and leave it at a sense of, well, my voice isn't valued and I'm going to stop talking. That is not what that is. This is character development. And you are fully capable of choosing any one of the tips that I have given you to implement if you want to choose one. The thing about people, which I've mentioned before, is people have patterns. You can realize what the pattern is of a person or of a meeting. You can get ahead of what it takes for you to be effective and for your voice to be heard in the midst of the pattern. You know Rob is going to talk up when he hears something about sports. You know Malcolm is going to bring up something about his dogs. Whatever it is that you've noticed, you can get ahead of that by planning and being prepared for moments when people interrupt you. Now, I've given you tips. All you have to do now is act. Don't be comfortable the first round that you say it. It won't be. And I'm not asking you to be comfortable because you are doing something that is different from your norm. So if you're reaching for comfortable feelings, don't. You will feel different about stating the phrase, but that is okay because what you want are the results. As long as you're able to finish your thoughts, you have been successful. We talked about redefining success meters. Success here for you is in finishing your thought. That is the success rate for you. So if you're able to use 1, 2, 3 of these tips and close the conversation with your point, you are successful. Let me know how you've handled interruptions during conversations. I'd love to know if you've used any of these phrases or you're going to use these phrases. Let me know what the results are. I am looking forward to reading your comments. I'm looking forward to supporting you. You don't have to come out of character to get your point across. You are in full control. You can do this. I'm excited for you. I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who is struggling with interruptions. Love you, mean it. See you next week. Bye.